So I'm going to do a real quick video on what I have in my cleaning kit. This isn't the end-all be-all for clean kits. This is going to be a video that I'm making a series of for a family member who is starting his journey in hunting and precision rifles. So to start off, you can see it's pretty much filled to the top. All it is a Harbor Freight ammo can. This is something that I'll take to the range, places like that. It's not what I necessarily always use inside the garage or somewhere in the house. All right, as you can see, I have my nylon coated cleaning rod. I think this is a 36-inch rod. I have a jag on the front end of it. It's a 30 caliber rod because my guns are mostly 30 caliber. This will go in my gun case with my rifle or rifles, and that's where I store that. Then I got 3 rags. 2 or 3 rags are always a good idea. This is just a little plano case. I've got Q-tips. This is for a rod that I use to clean my chamber with. When I do a cleaning video, you'll see how I use that. I've got different jags and eyes. I've got my chamber brush, nylon. I've got my bore nylon brushes. I like to use nylon because it's less intrusive. Then I've got some pistol brushes, not really a big deal, but they're for cleaning my sidearm. And then just miscellaneous wrenches and parts that I put in here for tightening scopes or adjusting scopes or whatever. So that's what's in this little plano box. And then these are for my bore guide. These are my rod guide. So if I'm using different calibers, that's what those are for. But like I said, mostly I'm a 30 cal guy, so that never comes off. I've got a piece of cordage with a bolt on it. When I do a scope leveling video for my family member, this is my plumb bob that I use when I'm leveling my scope. I have assorted patches in here. This is my bore guide. Excuse my children in the background. They're having fun. These are some bags for just miscellaneous parts. I always like to have a Sharpie for whatever reason. These are for solvents. I'll go in more detail with these when I do the cleaning video. One's marked with no tape, and that's for copper solvent. And then others are marked with black tape, that's for bore cleaner. It's always good to have some black electrical tape. This is new. It's Fix-It sticks for rifle. I've wanted these for a while, had an opportunity to pick some up, saw them in a Sportsman's Warehouse, so I bought them. I was using a fat wrench kit from Wheeler. I've got different picks and brushes. I've switched to plastic picks. I don't like to use anything metal for the most part, although I do have this cleaning tool. I've had it for years. Every once in a while I find a need for it, so I just keep it. Old Gerber, my dad used to carry. I gave it to him when I was in the military. I just keep it in my box mostly for sentimental value, just like this screwdriver. This is a screwdriver I got from my dad. I use it once in a while, but not a lot. It's just something mostly for sentimental value. Keeps them close to my heart. Couple blocks, you'll see why I keep these in here when I go through leveling. I have a Wheeler leveling kit. I've really enjoyed this leveling kit. This works out really well for me. It's the leveling kit I would recommend if you're in the market for a leveling kit. I like a shaving brush. Been using shaving brushes since I was in the military. It's good for putting a nice thin coat of oil, lubricant on parts, whether you're just lubricating them and wiping it off, or lubricating them from long-term storage. It's a good way to put an even coat of lubricant over bolts and other things. Right now I have a couple bottles of this Hoppy's Gun Medic. I have some gun grease. I've had the same tube of gun grease almost for 10 years now, so gun grease lasts a long time. I've got some Loctite. Some people use it, some people don't. I've used it in the past. I just keep it on hand. Some manufacturers recommend that you don't use Loctite because you can potentially over tighten your screws on your scope. It's subjective. I recommend you go with whatever you're comfortable with, because at the end of the day, if you break it, you bought it. Then I have these little, I think they're 4-ounce bottles of bore cleaner and bore solvent. They're both Hoppy's. I know there's a lot of different types of cleaners out there, and some people might say, oh, well, you should use this and you should use that and blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. Everybody's got their preference. It's all subjective, like I said earlier. Everything is subjective. I grew up using Hoppy's. I like using Hoppy's. I've never had a problem with Hoppy's. Does Hoppy's get the job done? For me, it does. If you want to use something else, you go right ahead. More power to you. I'm sure your method will work too. It's all subjective. Everybody has a different technique, and you know, are there better products out there? Probably. Yeah, there probably are. There's some new products that have come out in the last decade, maybe 2 decades, and they're great products, and you know, you can use them. I just go with what I know, because at the end of the day, you know, I have experimented with things like, say, CLR, and I don't think I did any damage to a barrel using CLR to clean out hard carbon, but you know, it was something that I wasn't really used to, and I did it anyway, and you know, I never saw any problems with the CLR. But you know I'm not going to damage a barrel with Hoppy's. You know, we used Hoppy's in the Army for our sniper rifles, and you know, I just feel comfortable with it. You know, I'm not made of money, and I can't buy a new barrel every time I ruin something. So for the most part, I just feel comfortable with Hoppy's, and I will continue to use Hoppy's. So that's what I'm keeping in my case. And you know, some people keep other stuff. This is what I'm keeping. This is what I like, and I will continue to use. And as my family member gets more educated on how he wants to manage his cleaning, he'll make the choices he wants to make and do what he wants to do. And that's what it's all about, doing what works for you. There's nobody that has the end-all be-all of any of this. So Michael, that's your cleaning kit video that I wanted to make for you, to give you an idea of what I'm carrying in the kit, and I hope it helps you out in the coming months and years of you using a rifle for hunting, and knowing how to have a proper kit, or at least a basis for a kit for your endeavors in the future with your rifle and rifles in the near future. All right, that's the end of that video.